Mama here. I've been trying to get time to film and things have just keep happening, and I haven't been able to sit down and film some videos for you guys. I really wanted to talk about several things, and magnesium is one of them, but first I need to give you my spiel and tell you that I am not a medical professional. I have no medical training whatsoever, nothing formal. I am a mom of 20 years and someone who has dealt with health problems of her own and health problems with my kids, and magnesium has come up several times for us. So I just want to share with you what I know. Obviously, do your own research, check with your medical professional, and I have to apologize in advance for the traffic noises. I'm on my deck, and it seems to be the only place I can get kid-free right now to film, so here I am. Anyway, what do we need to know about magnesium, and what do we need to know about prepping with the need for magnesium in mind? If you're on social media at all, you've probably seen different articles about how everyone is deficient in magnesium, and it's actually, I believe that that's true. So there's a couple reasons why you might be magnesium deficient, or why a lot of people might be magnesium deficient. And one of them is our commercial modern farming practices that basically take from the soil, and they only put back what is possibly not what the soil needs, right? So they're not replacing the minerals that are coming out of the soil. So basically they're farming and using fertilizers, but they're not but they're using soil that has basically been drained of its minerals. It doesn't have the mineral content that it should have. And I mean, there are ways you can farm and replace things, but commercial, non-organic, modern farming practices are not doing that. So even though grains should be high in magnesium, we should probably question the magnesium content in our grains and be looking at how much we're really getting from our food. And I'll talk about that in a minute too. But the other reason that a lot of people are deficient in magnesium is stress drains your body of magnesium greatly. And so many of us today are stressed out. We have such busy lives, and such lives that are filled with things that maybe possibly don't bring us joy, and we're not all managing our stress correctly. So that really robs our body of the magnesium that we really need. So if we're not getting enough in the first place, and stress is depleting our magnesium in the second place, most of us are going to have a problem with that, even if we're generally healthy. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and then I'll tell you what I do, at least right now. So anyway, the magnesium is needed for over 300 body functions. It's a cofactor in over 300, and a lot of those, most of those, they're all important, right? But the cardiovascular system is like the number one important thing. So a deficiency can cause cardiovascular problems. It can cause brain and thinking problems, neuro problems, and it can cause muscular problems. Those are probably the ones that jump out at you the most. There are a lot of other things that missing magnesium can cause, but those are big ones. And so it's important to take a look at our diets and figure out if we're getting enough magnesium, and if possibly any of the things going on with us could be due to a magnesium deficiency. So again, I'm sorry for the traffic. Of course, I came out here and there was none. So if you are someone who suffers from a lot of muscle or joint pain, fatigue, but difficulty sleeping, constipation, high blood pressure, and cramping and pain, chances are it's possible that you have a magnesium problem, and there are a couple ways to address that in our daily lives and in our preps. So some of the things that are supposed to be high in magnesium are whole grains, leafy greens, nuts and seeds, avocados, and dark chocolate. There's a few more probably, but I can't think of them right now. So those are things that you can add to your diet that should have magnesium in them. The USDA recommends adults get 380 milligrams of magnesium a day. So take a look at your diet and see if you're getting that much. And if you're not, do what you can to improve your diet, but also consider a supplement. Now, a lot of people recommend Calm, and this is a supplement that's easy to take. It doesn't taste very good. In fact, my boys do recommend the raspberry lemon or the cherry flavor. Don't buy this plain. You won't like it. So it is sour. It is like a fizzy little addition to water that you drink. Kind of like emergency packet is, but it's sour. Which I guess is good because it means it probably doesn't have a bunch of added sugar. But one serving of this is 2 teaspoons, and it gives you 325 milligrams of magnesium. And this is something that if you want to add magnesium to your diet and anything, this is magnesium citrate. Anything citrate or citrus derived doesn't bother you. You're going to want to take this at night before bed because it actually does relax you. Within 30 to 60 minutes, you're very relaxed after taking this. But you don't want to start off taking 2 teaspoons. You really need to build up a tolerance for magnesium if you're not used to taking it, because if you don't first, it will give you diarrhea. So you don't want that. So I would start off with 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon and work your way up to the 2 teaspoons a day or at night before bed in your water. But it's amazing how much it will help you sleep, because it's kind of like the missing thing. If you're having difficulty settling down, or if you're having muscle cramps at night, or migraines, or just any kind of insomnia, you're not able to actually get to sleep, you might consider that it's a magnesium deficiency issue, and you might look into this. Now, I'm going to attach an article below about the different forms of magnesium, because magnesium citrate is not going to work for everyone. It does not work for me. So I keep a little list around for my boys when they need it. Especially, I have one that's an athlete, and he tends to need it more. But I can't take this because it has the opposite effect on me. Because it's citrus derived, I react to it, and it actually gives me the opposite reaction than it should as a magnesium supplement. So it actually makes me kind of shaky and weird feeling. So I cannot take this one. I take glycinate, magnesium glycinate, and I take, by the way, none of these products, I'm not affiliated with any of these things, okay? These are just things I use in my home. So I like this brand of supplements, pure encapsulations, because they're very pure. So they don't have a bunch of additives and fillers in their supplements that you could react to. And I am, unfortunately, I'm very reactive to a lot of things. My condition, that's just life for me. But I have a really good luck with this brand, and I take magnesium glycinate. Now, a good thing about magnesium glycinate is it does not give you loose stools. You have to take a lot more of it to get diarrhea, actually. So that's good. The other thing is glycinate is just a form. It's just a form that doesn't do that as easily. So if you don't even want to deal with the possibility of that, you might look into magnesium glycinate. There are several other forms, and I'm going to link to an article that I found. Actually, a friend of mine showed me on Vitacost's website about the different forms of magnesium and what they're used for, so that you can look and see what possibly could be the best form for you to use, because everyone's different and everyone has different issues going on. So I think it's best that everyone does their own research, because everyone's body's different. But also, I wanted to say that ultimately our health is our responsibility, and yes, we might have a primary caregiver or a provider. Look at my 5-year-old is in the background trying to get in on this video. I had to come out here to avoid children, but this kid really wants to be in front of the camera. You should look for her in about 20 years. Anyway, as I was saying, what was I saying? Anyway, as I was saying, I don't even know what I was saying. My children distract me, truly. Sorry about that. She made me lose all track of what I was saying. As I was saying, ultimately, although we might have caregivers that we see to help us with our health problems, it is our responsibility to take care of our own health. And our caregivers don't always have the answers. So I've really had to, although I have a primary caregiver and I've had a naturopathic doctor and I now have a nurse practitioner I see, I've actually had to really do a lot of work to figure out what is going on with me and figure out my own solutions. I've of course shared these things with my nurse practitioner and she's given me a thumbs up, but we cannot depend on them to always have the answers. And especially with the medical field the way it is now, they are not afforded the time with us that really should be given to really figure out what is going on with us. And to me, I feel like when it comes to your health, the whole person should be considered, not just a single symptom and how can we get rid of it. Usually a symptom means something else is going on and we need to figure out the root cause. And so that's kind of my philosophy of healthcare, and I've just learned that it's extremely frustrating to depend on a medical professional to try to help me when it's just not. What I want to say is I've been disappointed a lot, and really what it comes down to is it's our responsibility to take care of our own health. And if we can find the help from a medical doctor or a naturopathic doctor or a functional medicine doctor, that is wonderful. And if you can find one that will work with you and have respect for your opinions and listen to you, then grab onto that professional and keep your relationship with them and have them help you and guide you and run the blood tests that you need. But definitely do your research and figure out what's going on with you yourself, and don't be solely dependent on your medical provider. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And as things get hairier and we don't have maybe the possibility of a medical provider, the more we know about our own health and about health in general, the better. So make sure there's someone in your family or in your circle who is educated on these things. Find someone who knows about herbs and who knows about other ways of healing, and make them part of your network and part of your circle, or make sure someone in your household or in your family, they always like to race by, has that information or has that education. It's very important. Okay, so what can you do in your preps besides possibly adding supplements to your preps? I mean, we could end up adding lots of supplements to our preps, but you can only add so many. It's expensive. So what can you do? Okay, you can prep by stocking organic whole grains that have been farmed sustainably, and you can further soak and or sprout those grains, which will make any nutrition and minerals in those grains more bioavailable to your body. And that's definitely something you should check into. So first, find a good source of your grains, and whether they're certified organic or not, you want a farmer who is raising their grain sustainably and someone who's taking care of their soil. So that's important, okay? The other thing is to stock nuts and seeds as much as possible. Obviously, nuts, the more oil in them, the shorter their shelf life. Seeds are a great option. A lot of different kinds of seeds are a great option. Lots of seeds are very shelf stable for long periods of time, so you're going to want to consider that. And I'm not just talking about pumpkin and sunflower seeds, but I'm also talking about broccoli seeds and clover seeds and other things that you can sprout. So you want to stock nuts, stock seeds that you can sprout. You can actually sprout nuts and seeds. You can soak them or sprout them, depending on what kind they are. I don't have a ton of experience with that, but basically if you take almonds and you soak them for a few days until they grow little tails, that is a soaked and sprouted almond. You can then just eat them, or you can crisp them in the oven and eat them. You can crisp them in the oven with spices or soy sauce or coconut aminos. There's a lot of things you can do to make the nutrients in those nuts more bioavailable to you. And this actually is good because it improves the digestibility of these things. So grains and nuts can be difficult to digest, but soaking and sprouting them first actually makes them easier to digest. So that's something. And then dark chocolate should be in your preps, people. Just put it there in a cool, dry place, right? As much as you can. You can freeze chocolate, so that's an option for a long-term storage before things hit the fan. And then have seeds stocked so you can grow leafy greens, things like spinach and kale and Swiss chard and collard greens. They all have magnesium in them. So those are 4 things that I would do to, was that 4? Yeah, that was 4, that I would do to ensure that I have magnesium in my preps. But I would definitely do some research about it, figure out if you're having any issues that can be taken care of by upping your magnesium in your diet. And if you can't do that in your diet, consider a supplement. And in the show notes below, I will link an article that for me was very helpful in deciding what form of magnesium is right for me. So that way, hopefully, you can find which form is right for you. Okay, thanks for joining me, you guys, tonight. I appreciate it, and I appreciate any likes and subscribes, and I just appreciate you being here, and I hope that this video has been helpful for you. And thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.